I'm stronger than I've ever been before. When you're feeling weak, we're stronger. We are strong. We're stronger. Stronger than we've ever been before.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Stronger with Armstrong. I'm your host, Eddie Armstrong, and I'm delighted to have guests here today from around the state. We've just finished a great dinner. There's a bit of noise in the background because people are having a great time. We're located here at the 1836 Club in Little Rock, Arkansas. For those that are out there watching today, we ask that you follow the 1836 Club at the 1836club.com. You can always join this private club. We've got memberships all over the world. But today, we're right here located in Central Arkansas, Little Rock to be exact, with some of my near and dear friends. We'll have others join us that have not been here for dinner for some of this dialogue and discussion today. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stronger with Armstrong podcast series. In this series, we aim to highlight the extraordinary and ordinary people of Arkansas and the great work that they're doing in their respective cities. From CEOs to farmers to business leaders and mayors, we will be coming to towns and talking to people about their extraordinary work and what makes Arkansas stronger. We led off this evening with some great prayers. Many of you all out there know that I'm a spirit warrior, so we've gotten that out of the way. This evening, we're just going to have a conversation amongst friends and family. We're so blessed that we have some people arriving a little bit late because they've been on the road coming into Little Rock. But we've got some friends all the way from Arizona that have come home to visit with his mom, and he is joining us as a young man and an advocate this evening at the table. I encourage you all to be natural in your questions and in this conversation. I would like to start by asking each of you to please personally introduce yourself. Tell us who you are as a person, and then professionally give us a little bit of understanding of who you are as a mayor in your respective city here in this great state of Arkansas. We'll start with you, Mayor.
My name is Stacie Mitchell-Gweah. My name is Stacie Mitchell-Gweah, and I'm the mayor of the great city of Stamps, Arkansas. I was born and raised there. I've been mayor. This is going into my third year. And in addition to that, just who I am, first and foremost, I am the mother of Elijah and Bobby, and I have a beautiful grandbaby named Mello. So first and foremost, I am a family person. I'm a mother. I'm a daughter. But most of all, I'm a person of faith. And so I would definitely say that, and I'm a servant leader. And so that's what I'm here to do, is to serve as the mayor of Stamps.
Hi, everyone. Frank Scott Jr., the proud mayor of the city of Little Rock. Blessed to be the first popularly elected black mayor in Arkansas state capital city, here amongst friends. So grateful for the invitation from Eddie. The only problem he has is that he's from the north side of the river. His family does come from the east end and the east side of Little Rock, and so we'll let him spend some time over here. Just appreciate the invitation to be amongst friends and sister mayors, and we know one of our brother mayors will be here shortly. Right now, just kind of set the tone. We're in the midst of the Arkansas Municipal League, and so many of us are here from across the state to get some key learnings on leadership development, on how we lead our cities. And so we're kind of be in and out, and myself are going to be departing sometime in the middle of this. So when you see me scoot out, that's the reason why. But anytime Eddie calls, I'm going to break a leg to make certain I'm there for him, because he's always been there for me. So just wanted to make that shout out.
Appreciate it, Mayor. Thank you for being here. I don't need the mic. Sister Viv, what's up? Who are you?
I am Vivian Flowers. I am
the L. I love it.
I am born of Pine Bluff. I grew up in Southern California, but still was always a visiting resident of Pine Bluff. It was always spoke of as home. So it is such an honor, and I'm having the time of my life serving as mayor of the city of Pine Bluff. After serving for 10 years in the House, much of that time with Eddie Armstrong, who has made me stronger.
Stronger with Armstrong.
Stronger than Armstrong.
I love it.
And I'm a daughter, sister, cousin, friend. The thing that's most important to me is family, and not only those by blood, but just by relation. Sometimes, I've had an opportunity through people I met at school at Howard University and University of Arkansas Little Rock, Clinton School. There are people who became my brothers and sisters through that learning and academic experience. And those are, I guess, the family members you get to choose, right? And but nothing's more important to me than family, as well as community. And I would also consider myself a servant leader. Every job I've ever had, whether it's been service on a commission in the Minority Health Commission, or I worked for about 10 years at UAMS in the Center for Diversity Affairs, and other jobs, I always approached those jobs from a servant's heart and wanted to help and leave that institution and my community better than what I found it in that context. So.
Well, let's jump right into leaving your community a little bit better than the way that you found it. I could not have scripted this. It's a divine blessing that tonight we invited 7 mayors from around the state, and those that couldn't make it, I want to go on record to say thank you to Mayor McClendon out of West Memphis. Thank you to Joe Harris out of Osceola, Arkansas. Mayor George McGill out of Fort Smith, Arkansas, who will be here this evening. Mayor Tomeka Butler out of Eudora, Arkansas will be here. And then our fine esteemed guest here this evening. So let's jump right into these questions of making our communities a little bit better. Frank or Vivian, I'm going to tee off with one of you. And Frank, since we've got Frank's his name, folks. Most folks call him Mayor Frank Scott Jr., but I'm going to call him Frank. That's my brother and friend. I hope you guys don't mind me going by your first names. What has driven you to continue serving the citizens of your city over time? Understanding that you were the first popularly elected Black mayor of the city of Central High. What a feat, number one. But what has driven you, as we are on the cusp and right here in the middle of Juneteenth, to continue to serve your citizens over time? And what's your approach and insight? The Frank Scott secret sauce is what I'm looking for. What do you wake up and how are you guided? And that question's for each of you.
First and foremost, I'm guided by my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Word.
I would not be here without him. When you ask, why did I decide to run for mayor? Many people will say different things. They may say, oh, I've always wanted to be mayor when I grow up or something of that nature. But I've always been someone that was literally behind the scene, and God has always ordained, positioned me to go to the front from the back and not from the front to the back. And so that's a true blessing. And Vivian knows, and Eddie knows the background from a work standpoint. But fear and frustration are great motivators. And so out of frustration, I decided to run for mayor to unite, grow, and transform our city. As we talk about the history of Juneteenth, being the first popularly elected Black mayor, I always pay homage to, if you understand the systematic and institutional racism that was going on in the 1950s. There was a lot of things that were happening with the Little Rock Nine, where then a white mayor by the name of Woodward Mann called Eisenhower to help lead the Little Rock Nine at the Central High. And so when you think that back to 60 years later in 2018, when I was running for election, I went to the Central High 60th class reunion anniversary with then Ernie Green. And when you think about the stuff that you read in the books, I get in there and he's the only Black person as me besides, other people who are working the event, and you see the history right there. And then secondly, you pay homage to those who came before you. While I may be the first Black elected, I pay homage to Charles Bussey and to Lottie Shackelford, who, because of the former government, were mayors before me, but not necessarily elected. They were city council members, but I can't be where I am without them. And so it's always about understanding and respecting your roots, paying homage to those that have been pioneers before you, but most importantly, to be true servant leaders for your communities. But again, frustration and fear are a great motivator. Many times right now in Juneteenth, I will say this and before I step away, that we better be frustrated, we better be fearful to get to work.
I don't need the mics.
Get a question one more time.
Just what has driven you, what continues to drive you for serving the citizens over time? I know that your story is quite unique. You've come back to the state. I was really moved by that when I met you. Mayor that will join us tonight, Mayor McGill, has spoken about leadership is service. But what has driven you to continue to serve the people now and in your city and in your space?
Well, definitely what I would say, is that I feel, without a shadow of a doubt, that I was chosen for this and that it's a calling that I had to answer. And I will say that because I had a few moments after COVID where I just had some moments to kind of sit to myself and really be able to think about, you know, God, I've seen so much with death and things that has happened during that time and so much loss. So it put a lot of things in perspective. And I said, you have allowed me to do so much in my time. My children are grown, so I don't have to worry about that as much. Um, so what would you have me to do? And I heard it clear. He said, go home. And I said, Lord, you know I can't move to Des Moines, Iowa, because it's too cold. It's too cold there. And he said, no, go home. And I said, home hasn't felt like home in a long time. And the last few times I went home, I had to bury someone. And I didn't really want to come back home. But I know that it is better to be obedient because I don't want to be on the disobedient side. And so when I say I had to answer a calling, I had to answer that calling. I said, Lord, I don't know what you want me to do when I go there, but I'm going to just go down for the 4th of July and I'm going to see what it's like. And if it feels like home, then I'll stay. And that's what I did. I went home and, everybody was coming out of COVID. It was a real great time. And we was getting a chance to see folks we hadn't seen in years. And it felt like home again. And I said, okay, God, now what? And every time we always visit home, we like, dang, that store closed, that place gone. Man, I remember so-and-so used to live here. It's all grown up now. And I said, we need to bring back the buzz. That was my thing. We need to bring back the buzz. We was a Stamps Yellow Jackets, and the school had now had consolidated, and a lot of things had changed. And I said, okay, God, I'm going to be obedient, and that's what I'm going to do. And so that's what I did. I answered the calling to come, and I didn't know. This is my first time ever running for public office. But what I will say is that what I learned in that process is if you're willing to answer the call and be obedient to what you know that God has called you to do, He will make your path straight. He will give you every resource. He will give you everything that you need. And I've been able to see that from the moment that I decided that I said I'm going to be obedient. Everybody thought my kids was like, what? But I've been obedient, and He's opened doors that other has said that was closed. And He's just made a way. And I mean, even today, things are still happening. And people say, no, you can't do that. We've been doing this for the last 20 years. We're going to keep on doing that. I said, I understand. But my God says, this is what I need to be doing. And so I know that if I can't get a no here, I know that yes is coming. I know if that door is closed and that wasn't the right one for me at this time. So He has a better one. And so people sometimes think I'm crazy, but those are the types of talks that we have to have when you know that you're serving a living God. And so that's what I would definitely say for me is that I answer the calling.
It takes being a little radically crazy to operate in faith under the order of the great undefeated Creator. Yeah. And our pastor here might stand up and give a word, given that you, I've got a question, Viv, I want to punt to you, but for the sake of our mayor here and Mayor Stacie, I want to just talk real quickly, Viv, before you jump into this one. I want you to be reflecting on the progress and growth from your vantage point of what's coming to your cities. Billions of dollars at this table this evening in economic growth and job development opportunities that are coming into your townships. How are you positioning yourself for that? And what can you share with our listeners and viewers that can get them excited about where to find the job and to land on a new opportunity as these new opportunities are coming to your city? But Sister Flowers, tell us what has driven you to continue to serve in your career over this time.
I would say just influences growing up. I would start with probably being a sort of civic history kind of poli-sci nerd with a history teacher who gave me my first lesson on conspiracy theories and politics in a way that allowed me to see the power of people and the power of the process, and learning that our system really is perfect. It's man that is not. It's people who are not. And so, good people, obedient people, faithful, frustrated, fearful people have to step up and act accordingly. And so I'd like to think that I've been obedient. Haven't always, though. Sometimes you play it safe, and you wait. And I feel like that, God had a purpose on my life, and I always knew that I wanted to run for something one day. Ever since really junior high, I knew I wanted to do something. And when I was in college, and I had a protracted college career, but it allowed me to learn and see and be exposed to the things that I wanted to do and didn't want to do. So all that to say, I knew I wanted to run for something. And I just so happened to end up working for the Bureau of Legislative Research, where I saw things happen that, I just couldn't have imagined. But one of the things that I always take with me and tell people that I learned is when people show up, things change. And it doesn't take a whole room full of people. It just takes people who were unexpected to show up, start asking questions, and start making demands. And when they, along with folks who are impacted by the decisions that are made in our, halls of Congress and the state legislature and city hall and quorum courts and courtrooms even, people know their power and they are engaged and educated, and your door is open, they will show up and they'll show out in a really good way. And I think just to, lean into their second question, I'll be the first to say that, our city is growing, but our city's been growing. You know what I mean? Like, the growth didn't stop in a lot of ways. But we were also, I think, affected by gun violence and crime that you saw happening in many cities across the country. And health issues. We're a red county, but Fulton County, which is a predominantly white city, like way predominantly white city, in a county in Arkansas, in north central Arkansas, is also a red county. And so the other thing that I'm very aware of, because I grew up in the suburbs of Southern California, around, white students and Mexican students and Filipino students and Samoan students, Korean. I would come here to visit and ask my grandparents, where is everybody? Because I had a different perspective about what diversity was and is. But the bottom line is, anybody who's been outside of this country or really across the states, we all want the same things. You know what I mean? We all want to be safe. We want a safe, clean, dry place to live. We want to be able to move about freely, pursue our dreams. If we have children, we want our children to be safe and be able to raise them with good schools. We want to be able to work a job or start a business. And, some people will take Formica. Some people want Italian marble. But at the end of the day, you still want a kitchen and you want to eat, right? And I just am excited about Pine Bluff. Our infrastructure is strong. Our intermodal resources are, a four-pronged powerhouse that most cities do not have.
Indeed.
And so we're just ready to lean into those. And what makes the difference is not always the money. Money helps and we need it. But ethical leadership, good policy, people who understand their power, and folks who are educated about processes is what makes a difference. And I think that's where we are.
And that's what makes these communities. Thank you so much, Mayor Flowers, your contributions into making Arkansas stronger. Question same for you all. At this table this evening, we had guests and we'll have guests that represent cities that are bringing about steel, an amazing port, gaming, medical cannabis, farming, lithium, data centers, all right now converging upon the state of Arkansas, billions of dollars of economic growth and opportunities and job opportunities. How that gets to the ground level is something I want you guys to unpack. But do you believe that what you're doing and the factors that I just mentioned contribute to making Arkansas stronger in your cities? And if so, how and why?
Well, I just want to just commend Mayor Flowers on her great leadership and just really getting things off and running and knowing her track record.
How long you been in office?
6 and something months.
6 and something months. She is on a roll.
And she's able to get off and running because she was built for this. And I remember the time when she was working in the Arkansas Legislative Bureau and I was working for Governor Beebe. It's hard to believe we're young, but that was, we won't say how long ago that was, but you are. You are. But from an economic development perspective, we are proud in Little Rock to have grown since our tenure close to 12,000 new jobs. We've led the employment record in the state of Arkansas the last several years. And when you think about Little Rock as a region, that represents 59% of all jobs come from the Little Rock Central Arkansas region. Of that 59%, 35% come from actually the city of Little Rock proper. And it just shows not only from a local and a regional perspective, our powerhouse. You may think from other folks that some other areas may be more stronger than we are, but I want to let you know that, us in Central Arkansas, we've been doing great work, and it comes from being very aggressive in business development, but also, as you talk about, because Pine Bluff also has a port, and Little Rock, we have an inland port. Little Rock is situated to have River Railroad and runway all centered in the downtown area of our city. We have a great mayor right here from Eudora just walking in, and let's give her, we love Mayor Butler.
Hey, Mayor Butler, what's up?
As she walks in. But all that being said is staying aggressive from that standpoint, but also knowing what we all can do to lean in for our communities to make certain that everyone's participating in that progress. And we're grateful for that. We've seen that as we move forward, because for Little Rock, and as I kind of transition now that the new mayors, another mayor's come in, not only are we participating in that progress, but making certain that the dollars reflective of the communities that we spend in and that we provide jobs for, and also focus, as we see the young brother to our right, that we're also preparing for the future. Whether that's AI and data and things of that nature. And so, but Eddie, I just want to share my appreciation to you. And
these people want to know one question. Do you feel like Little Rock is stronger today than it was yesterday since you've been in office? Yeah. I know the answer, but I want to hear it from you.
Yes, no question, because of God and the residents that elect us and our team and the 2,500 employees of the city of Little Rock. Without them, it would not happen.
I'm going to have to interject. I'm going to say yes, and he's being humble because he is a man of God and everything he said is true, but he's kind of deflecting from the importance of his leadership. Mm-hmm. If you are not obedient to God and you aren't leading in a way that lifts up the name of Jesus Christ everywhere you go, which you do, but also leading in a way that is ethical and that leans into community. And one of the things that I love about Mayor Scott, and he is markedly younger than me, but he's more mature than me for sure, and has been a wonderful mentor as I have gone from the legislative arena to the executive level. The thing that I would say about Mayor Scott is he is unafraid. He is a statesman.
He doesn't let it show, that's for sure.
And he never forgets where he came from. He started out with his economic development focus in an area that was traditionally, I used to live in Little Rock, traditionally, almost decidedly, you better not do anything else but leave Southwest Little Rock out. That's the way the politics were in Little Rock when I lived there, before I lived there, when I watched the news there, when I read the paper there. And he stepped in that office and made it very clear that his focus first was going to be on Southwest Little Rock. and he has made an incredible difference. So I just want to say a resounding yes to that question.
Absolutely.
And let you know what an inspiration you are, what a wonderful teacher, mentor, leader you are among us. I look at you all the time and want to be like you. I'm serious. And I mean, I expect you to be quiet because you're a humble man. But
I told him from
But
day
I
one I'm
feel
taking
very
notes.
comfortable saying this. Like, you are awesome. And I hope you stay in office as long as the people will have you, but also really as long as you want. Because I know the people understand and have shown to folks who had to mess around and find out that, the people understand what kind of leader you are, and they are going to elect you time and time and time again. So they need to stop trying to figure out how to move you out the way, and they need to join you and lean into your vision, because imagine without the people who you've had to fight against and who've had to sabotage and try to mess up your name, which they cannot do. Imagine if they would have joined forces with you and leaned into your vision and supported and invested in your vision along with the people where Little Rock could be, and the rest of us therefore.
Well, we're plowing full ahead, and I know you've got to roll. They got to hug it out on that one. We're going to give it time for that. Homage, indeed. Indeed. Mayor, we know you've got to depart us. The Municipal League Conference is going on this week, as we mentioned, so mayors are in and out, but we're honored that you would stop by, give us some of your time. As you depart, you know how I feel about you, and keep rocking and rolling. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on in. And welcome back to Stronger with Armstrong podcast series. I'm your host, Eddie Armstrong. We've had some guests come in this evening, some leave, some that just could not make it. As I mentioned, we're right in the midst of the Arkansas Municipal League's annual conference here in Little Rock, Arkansas. So some of our mayors could not quite be here. Some came in, and the key leader of the city of Little Rock had to depart because he is doing welcomes this evening for many of our guests coming into our great city. But we are delighted and overjoyed that, number one, the crowd is shrunken down. And I know when I'm around faithful, spiritual, strong Black women, anything can happen. No, it's secret sauce. You can't let, everybody in out here in media land will get this. But shout out to our Black women. I'm raised by one of the most amazing ones of them all. Shout out to Jackie Armstrong, my mama out there. Stronger with Armstrong podcast series is highlighting the strength and resilience of our communities, and most importantly, the people of the great state of Arkansas. Let's dive right back into our questions. And before we do that, we wanted to kick the ball over to our homegirl from Eudora, Arkansas. Tell us who you are personally and professionally for our viewers out there in the podcast land that will be tuning in.
I am Tomeka Butler, born and raised in Eudora, Arkansas, not in Lake Village at Lake Chico Memorial Hospital or at either of the hospitals in Greenville, Mississippi, or in McGee. Born and raised in Eudora by a midwife whom I had the privilege of meeting before she passed away. I am the youngest of 7. My mom and dad started with a girl, all boys in between and ending with the girl. I told them they had to save the best for last.
That's right.
I am a mother. I have one daughter who is 30 years old. She'll be 31 in August. I know, right? I am a people person. I love people. I've been around people all my life. Growing up, my parents had a business, and it was called Butler's. It was the hangout spot. Everybody, after school, before school, weekends, Butler's was the spot. So I grew up being around people. Counting Fortune bubblegum and penny candy is how I learned how to really count and count money early, before the age of 2.
Shout out to the listeners that don't know what penny candy is. That was a real thing. We got to experience chews and now laters and lemon heads for 1 penny.
That's
Keep
right.
going, Jolly Ranchers, can't forget the cookies in that mix.
Hello. Yes. And don't forget the Coleman drinks. Of course, they weren't $1, but they was like 35 cents. But it worked.
Before everything, you could get a lot with $1 back in the day.
Yes. I'm a spiritual being. I love God. Honestly, my my entire journey is because of him. I wasn't always this way, but as you get older, you're supposed to get wiser. So, my mother is my rock. She is 87. She will be 88 in October. She says she has 120 years on earth, and I really do believe her. She's a 2-time cancer survivor. First diagnosis at 71. So she's been kicking and pushing ever since. My father is deceased. He died July 4th, 1989. So around this time of the year, we all get together and just share stories, share memories, just remember him in a very good way. I don't know.
Well,
Professionally, I'm the mayor of
Mayor
Eudora.
Butler, tell us who you are, what town you run.
Professionally, I am the
Rep
mayor
your
of
city.
Eudora, Arkansas. I was the first African American female mayor of the city. I love my city. I love home. I'm extremely passionate about it because this is where I got my roots. Growing up, I remember a lot of the community leaders would oftentimes tell us, graduate high school, go to college, get, a higher education, get a good job, but don't forget where you came from. So I took that to heart. Given the opportunity to come back home and given another opportunity to perhaps lead the city, it was beyond my wildest dreams. I was living in Dallas, Texas at the time. And I was working with a group of individuals who are from Eudora, and we were working on trying to get a charter school because we lost our school back in 2004, 2005. So we were working on getting a charter school, and those plans did not go through as planned. We learned that there was another group of individuals working on the same thing, and we're from a small town, population roughly 1,800. You don't have a lot of people to support multiple of anything. We were just trying to get our babies home so we can get those resources and that funding and just an opportunity to get our babies home because they have to wake up quite early to be transported up the road to go to school in Lake Village. Most go to Lake Village. We have some that also attend school in Hamburg as well. But just the idea of not being able to attend school at home. We were ready to bring our babies back home and provide jobs for the teachers who were there because we had quite a few retired teachers and some who were coming out of college. But God had other plans. We're still hopeful that will come to fruition one day sooner than later. But right now we're very supportive of what's going on at Lakeside, in Lake Village, and in Hamburg with our kids. Prior to becoming the mayor, I worked with this organization called Phoenix Youth and Family Services. I call that home because I had two runs with Phoenix. But what I loved and appreciated mostly about that was I had an opportunity to work with youth between the ages of 14 and 21. Some who started in our program while they were still in high school, and we kept in communication even while they were attending college. But just to see how most of these youth were at risk, having issues and troubles at home, at school, but having the opportunity to come into their lives, to enforce the programs that we had in place, develop a rapport with them, their families, their parents, and then just see the growth throughout the years as long as they were involved in our program. And even still now, I still keep in contact with some of the kids that I had the privilege of working with at that time. And just to see where they are now, it just makes me smile, and I'm extremely excited about that. But this is just part of who I am. I love people.
Authentic, it's real. Sister Viv was leaning in. She tried to get out the way because you were getting so deep on it. She's like, tell me more. Y'all about to, but thank you so much for being here.
Oh, well, wait, I got to give another
absolutely.
shout out. So,
hit us up.
Graduated college from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I had the honor of also graduating at the same time with my youngest brother. We're not twins, but people thought we were twins. But a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. He's also a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I love my alma mater. I had the honor of being honored. Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
We heard it.
I was one of the 50 under 50 inaugural inductees last year in October at UAPB, I was like, when I received the invitation, I was like, you mean there's some people out here watching me? You mean there's some people out here seeing what I'm attempting to do? I'm like, okay. And I thought that was just like a very high esteemed honor. And I take that to heart because it makes me feel that much better about what I'm doing, because we all know a prophet gets no honor at home. And sometimes it's a little difficult working with us and implementing change, because a lot of times we don't want change. But I try to instill in my people is two types of pain. It's the pain of change and the pain of remaining the same. So you choose your pain. And should we choose to remain the same, we remain stagnant, we miss out. Should we choose to just suck it up and go ahead and take on the pain of change, it's an abundance of opportunities that's out there that awaits us, that's ours. And hey, if it's out there for the taking, I'm going to go for it.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm going to go for it. Yeah.
You know, Mayor Scott was here just a bit ago, and he's recently gone through several challenges, and Vivian held up such a highlight, but he mentioned that there's no progress without struggle.
Yes.
And to your point, we know that work twice as hard, run twice as fast, jump twice as high. All of that in addition to the struggles of being a female, or maybe having a melanin that doesn't look like another melanin, or maybe having a letter behind your name that may not match another one. And none of that has stopped the resilience of what I've been able to see and the passion that I think drives each of you all to wake up each day. We're going to dive into our questions, Mayor Butler. You got more for us? Because if you don't, I'm going to ask them specific questions. As I told you guys, I've got some gotcha questions, so be prepared.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. What advice would you share with the new leadership vanguard of today? You know, young people are faced with a multiplicity of new challenges, social media being one of them. I have a 9-year-old child that doesn't realize that YouTube may just give him a little bit more than he needs in his brain before he goes to school. But what advice, what knowledge can you share or briefly express to the younger generations to get a sense of self-worth, of value, and especially in our rural towns and communities where it's not as fast-paced? They may be a little bored. They may not see the immediate opportunities. What advice can you give our young people and our listeners out there that are thinking, I want to be here. I left. We all have left. We want to come back. How can young people be more engaged? What advice would you give them, given your leadership roles today?
The first thing I would say is pray.
Okay. And what if these young people are not used to or can connect through prayer yet?
Please, by all means, attempt to connect to some form of higher being.
Okay.
And I say that because no matter how much we think we're in control of our lives, of what happens, we're not. Take some time to figure out who you are as an individual. Because I'm still learning that there are adults who are still not aware of who they are. That's kind of difficult. Because without that, then you really have no direction. Without being able to call out to some type of higher being, you have no guidance. And we have to realize a lot of times, you know, our parents are knowledgeable, but they still don't know everything. And in a lot of situations, we will ultimately end up teaching them some things because evolution is real. You know, times change, people change, things change. We just have to stay abreast. Something else I would say to them, don't forget where you come from. Always remember that. Always remember your roots. I'm very grateful for my roots. No, I didn't come from the best of everything, but I do know that I came from genuine love. I came from a community of people who really were instrumental in my upbringing, that village who did not mind reprimanding me when I went left field, and then who didn't mind calling home and telling my parents what I did and what they did, and, you know, get ready because mama gonna tear you up. my dad never spanked me.
Mhm.
So I was a daddy's girl, but my mom didn't mind at all. She didn't mind at all. Very strong, very strong lady still. Another thing I would tell the young people is life is full of choices, but find something that you're extremely passionate about, because then you get the opportunity to wake up every day. And the joy of waking up every day and being able to do something that you absolutely love doing, it takes out all of the negativity and the strife of, dang, I don't want to go to this job, or I wonder how many sick days I have left, or I wonder if I call in, will I get a point? Or, it removes all of that. And it's a lot out here to do to where you can contribute back to society in a positive way. Indeed. So find out what your niche is, find out what that thing is, and go for it.
That's right.
And seek wise counsel. And it doesn't hurt to find a mentor, because whatever it is that you're attempting to do or thinking about doing, just know that it is at least someone else in this entire world who is doing it or has done it and who would love to offer you some sound advice. Yeah. So
I think that, your piece on asking questions.
Yes.
Young people want to be asked. And young people also are inquisitive enough. And if you're out there and you don't think that there's a starting place, the first place is to ask.
Yes.
Ask the creator or your higher purpose. If you're a praying person, ask a mentor or someone in the community. You talked about an amazing award that you received from UAPB. And my first gotcha is to our only mayor selected in the state, in the country, for the recent fellow from the E Publius Unum Fellow. She is, if I'm pronouncing that right, the only mayor in the country selected on the list of 10 to be a fellow. Tell us about this award as you lead into what advice you would give young people today seeking to be of service, seeking to have a job, seeking to find their way. Congratulations, number one. Tell us about this award, number one. You didn't think I knew that, huh? Yeah.
Well, the award really is an opportunity for my city, the city of Stamps, myself, to really be able to collaborate with people on a national level and be able to bring a capstone project to them that will really impact my community and be able to serve in some of the areas that we're currently missing. And so the organization that I will be doing the capstone project is my son's organization, who started his nonprofit when he was 12 years old.
Not your son.
No, not this one.
Okay, it's another one.
Yes.
By the way, this is our young audience participant tonight, but he's at the table, the oldest baby. Go for it, sorry.
So my youngest son started when he was 12, and we all helped with that, with sending books and things to Africa. I started off doing that.
Amazing.
And then later went into what we call Project Eli, which is our after school or out of school programs that we brought to the school. So my background is an educator. I've been anywhere from a substitute teacher all the way to a principal. And now I'm coaching and leading teachers and educators across the state of Arkansas right now.
So is that why you're always in the mayor's office and then on the road I try to catch you like you're going, that's it. So you're teaching these teachers?
Yes. And I coach principals. Wow. So that's why I was in the great city of Pine Bluff.
Wow.
So yes, it was an awesome.
A day job on a day job.
Yes.
Wow.
Huh?
Were you in Pine Bluff today?
No, not today. I spent a Delta Educators Summit. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I wasn't, but love Pine Bluff though. But I'm getting an opportunity to really bring some things. My son, his organization purchased a 6,000 square feet building in downtown Stamps. And if I look at the records correctly, I want to say that there has not been a Black person that owned that building before, or a Black organization. So we
Fact check. You got the receipts over there, as they say.
So that 6,000 square feet, we would like to turn that into a cornerstone for our town to be able to have some really have some after school programs, doing some more stream, doing more work readiness, and really just being a hub for our community. Because right now, a lot of our members are going outside of our community to receive resources. It's very rare that you will receive workforce development or classes or anything in our community. We're usually going to Hempstead or Columbia County or Miller County. And so it'd be nice to bring something at home, because our folks are in a desert or a red area where we're don't have access to food. We're in a food desert. We're in a broadband desert.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean you keep naming them. It's like we're there. So I am really happy about that, because I want to say my friend Sylvia Brown sent it to me and said, I think this would be a good opportunity for you. And I said, okay, Sylvia. And I went ahead, applied for it, and put my all into it and say, hey, this is where I'm at. And so I'm really happy for the opportunity, because what I do know is where we're embarking on right now in my area is something that we've never experienced before. And so we can't go in with the same tools that we had with the logging business or what we did 50 years ago. We have to come in with something new and then be able to partner with City of Little Rock, partner with the City of Pine Bluff, partner with your city, and look at how do we come together, and maybe we have some of those same similarities we can come together and work on. And so we really, really need to collaborate. And so if I had some advice to give to a young person, which I often do, my advice would be, I mean, you talked about, digging deep within and, having a personal relationship with God. And I understand, I work with young people all the time. And I understand, some of them don't even know. And back in the day, everybody went to church when I was growing up.
Indeed.
Some of these kids have probably never gone to church or don't even want to, or a desire to go. And it's hard for me to understand that, because I was always there. But I've learned over the time that what I would tell a young person is listen to that small voice inside of you. If you ever have a question or a doubt, just close your eyes and take a quiet time where your mind is not all racing, and just take some quiet time and listen to that small voice inside of you. And if you sit there and listen to that little girl and that little boy, that person will lead you in the right direction. Most people say, oh, it's your higher self, it's your consciousness. I just truly believe it's the Holy Spirit within me. And knowing that, I said, you'll make a better choice, you'll make a better decision. And my students often tell me, they was like, you know what? I knew I wasn't supposed to do it. I said, I know you heard that small voice that said, don't do it, Leroy. Don't do it. But you didn't listen. You ignored it and listened to the ego, in doing it. So I just tell them, listen to that small voice in you, and then remember to dream. Whatever those dreams and those thoughts were, think about them and just know that you can have them and you can achieve them. You write them down. You may not know how, because I've learned that. You don't have to know how. You just need to know what. And if you know the what and you're diligent with that, just really focusing on, okay, this is what I want to do, and start talking. Get a mentor. Say it out loud. Go look and do some research. They own this all the time. Go to chat or go to somewhere else and say, okay, I want to go to school. I want to go to a 4-year college and be a nurse. What does that mean? Do you have any nurses around you that you can talk to, that you can ask questions? Can you get on your phone and now look for that yourself and then start probing? So I would just say, for me, truly, is listen to that inward voice inside of you. And then once you listen to that voice, then whatever those thoughts and those ideas are, write them down. Say them out loud and make some affirmations about what it is that you want to do, and start moving in that direction. You don't need to know how you're going to be whatever. If you say, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a millionaire, I want to own a Fortune 500 company, whatever that is, just keep that there. But just know that this is what I'm working toward. And I'll tell you, all of it will come back to you. And I guess for me, myself, I had to take that time after COVID. And I had to think about that little girl inside of me and what really makes me happy. And that took me from being a principal of a school and saying, I like public speaking. I like coaching. I like this. But I was so afraid of all the other stuff.
Hmm.
Girl, you need to get some insurance. You got to make sure you have insurance. Girl, what you gonna do? How you gonna, all this stuff. And I said, no, I just got to listen to that inner voice. And I just started stepping out on faith. I prepared, but I had to start stepping out on faith and writing those things down. I did a vision board. I tell the kids, put your vision board. If money was never an issue and you can have anything you want, you can do anything you want, what would that dream life look like?
Hmm.
And put that there and put some pictures to it. And I promise you, we start doing that as a family. And stuff just started falling off. We was like, we're standing in the middle of what we prayed for.
Wow.
I wrote on when I was going to sell my house, right? And I said, this is the profit that I need to get from this house. And the man came back with the price a little bit higher than that. I said, oh, no, that ain't right. I need more. And then so a small voice said, go look at your vision board. I looked at the vision board. I said, okay, we'll close. 2 weeks on the market and I closed it.
Wow.
But it was all of those things. It's making your vision, writing your vision down and making it plain. And that's why I never stop dreaming. Don't listen to the naysayers. Just keep on dreaming because we can have anything that we want. We can have anything that we desire.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to be willing to do the work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love it. Sister Flowers, Mayor Flowers, if you could indulge, because you're a hybrid of, you tell people not to look at the numbers of your age, but you've been young for a long time. And I know going through the Clinton School and doing a similar capstone and keeping young people around you for as long as I've known you, currently in your administration. Briefly tell us what advice you would give young people today about capturing hope and capturing the opportunities to still dare to dream and be something in society when it's everything they can find right here to tell them, hey, you don't have to do anything but sit on your phone. What advice would you give our young people?
I think there's always been different levels of and resources as it relates to technology. So at one time, like the newspaper and printing press was like, wow. Television was this small and people sat around and watched it, it was fuzzy and black and white. It's always going to be some new something. Like we haven't.
And I know you got that mic down, but they need to
I'm
hear
sorry.
you too. You can
yes,
talk to me,
and we have not fully realized all that the Jetsons told us we could be when we were kids, and Maxwell Smart, right? So I mean, AI. No matter what it is, no matter what the mousetrap is, number one, I think we have to make sure that we remember who we are as human beings and lean into our relationships. And I think just as a policy wonk, I believe in regulatory standards and I believe in protecting people first. So I'm excited about data centers, but I'm also watchful about what I need to do as a mayor to protect our water resources and make sure that, we plan around how we utilize our electricity in Pine Bluff, because the data center means nothing if that's the only thing there is. You know what I mean? I mean, It needs to be part of a whole economy. It needs to be part of a whole city. And I mean, we've seen movies for years, Norma Ray, and what was that other movie? Aaron Brockovich.
Oh, yeah.
Who cares about jobs if people are being poisoned?
Yeah.
If people are not being paid a living wage.
Or breathing adequate air.
Yeah, the air and the water aren't clean. So, I mean, there's some stuff that's just basic. And I think we have to remind kids that, the cotton that makes their clothes doesn't just appear. It actually grows out of the earth. And water is required, and tilling and agriculture is required for that. Technology and their phones don't just appear. There are elements that have to be mined places, and we don't want people to die so that they can sit on their phone for hours. And the other thing is, we have parks. Like in Pine Bluff, we have 22 park facilities. And we plan to leverage those so people can enjoy themselves and walk and run and play
Amazing.
games. And I think we have forgotten about that because I used to, I'm about to sound old and I don't care. We used to play outside
That's a real
until
thing.
we had to come home. We used to fly kites.
I'm just saying.
We used to, play touch football on the side of, my mama's window. We used to hang out in the house and laugh. We played games, and my family and we played games. So there is so much to do to entertain ourselves, but outside, before you get to the entertainment, before you play, you got to work, right? Before we went to the mall or whatever on Saturdays, we had to clean up. And when we cleaned up, we listened to Frankie Beverly and Mays so that, decades later, I would go to my first Essence Music Festival and be like, why do I know all the words to these songs of this old man in white? And then I would go every year and dream of dancing on stage with him before he passed away. That never came to fruition, but I danced with him on stage in my head.
In your head, you had many.
Because that beautiful music was, the background and the foreground music, to my life. And so art it makes life colorful and makes life worth living, and our relationships, all those things, family, whatever that is to an individual. So I just would talk to young people about that. I just sat with a young woman who was a nursing student when I worked at UAMS, and I found myself like preaching to her and telling her things that apparently she needed to hear. She was almost in tears. Like, I am so glad that I needed to hear this. And we were talking about, familial relationships as siblings, relationships with men, career, race, because she was telling me she thought that we were different. Like, she was really involved in Black Lives Matter. And she was kind of saying that my politics were that were, what did she call it? She didn't call it conservative, but moderate. And I was like, a lot of people would beg to differ.
You know what I mean? Okay.
But I just had to remind her, there is like, think about the things that you were saying and doing then and what was important to you and how you saw things as black and white. And I don't mean race. I mean like right and wrong. There's no gray area. And now it's like, I'm not trying to lose my license. I'm not trying to lose my job. I got to pay my car note. It's a different thing. And she's 30 something, like early 30s. And I told her, I used to protest and be involved in all kind of stuff that my parents didn't know about. And as I got older, I first of all, there's an aging part where it's like my knees and my bank account will not allow me to do what I did when I was 20, right? And so yes, you go protest and you go do whatever you need to do. I'm going to be at the house praying for you. I'm going to defend you and make sure you can get a job one day. And I will give money to the cause.
Indeed.
But I'm not going to risk my body and my job and my whatever, right? Unless I have to.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm like, so there's that. And then there's the maturity part. There's the thing that you learn as you grow older, and you learn from your mistakes. You learn from your relationships, from the people around you, the people who are not yes people, but the people who care about you. Like, why'd you do that? Why'd you say that? The people who will tell you the truth. You learn from those things too, and then you become better. And you learn to sight immediately, like, don't even come over here with that.
That's good. I'm not going to keep us away from our dessert. I've got only a few more questions, and we're going to get a little snack in here, some dessert, some sweets. But I want us to think about a 2-minute time frame with how you want to answer these. One of them I've already given you. It's the 5 people at your table question. But giving us insight, one of the things I want our viewers to know is what excites you about your city. For you all out there that do not know, the guests that we had invited this evening and those that were able to attend, over $10 billion of economic growth were around this table this evening, from everything, as I mentioned, from lithium to steel to gaming to all sorts of new economic development, data centers along the Mississippi Delta, Eastern Arkansas corridor. there are lots of unique things moving Arkansas forward. Briefly tell us what excites you about your respective cities at this given time.
I would say one thing that really excites me is I believe that Eudora is, excuse me, is positioned perfectly. And the reason I say that for growth, we have the perfect platform for growth. Number one, because of where we're geographically located, we can touch the arc limits, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. Growth is, in today's society, you have to find something that's innovative in order to be able to grow and experience some momentum and some sustainability. And right now, what I'm really excited about is I'm working with an engineer who we're going to introduce hydroponic vertical farming to the area. And I'm excited about that because it's something new, to us, it's something different. We are in the farming industry, we're in the agricultural belt. And with the change of administration and the change of funding, a lot of farmers are really, really hurting right now. But it's just the idea of knowing we have a project to where we can take about 128 acres and still grow the same product in a 5x2 conduit system that you can put in your living room, not using any soil, but using water. I'm excited about that because we're going to introduce that to the area on a regional level.
And it's very timely.
And Eudora being a hub, because you were speaking about the billions of dollars that's going all over the state. Well, we don't have anything in Southeast Arkansas. So I'm determined. I just know that this is going to be the thing for us in Southeast Arkansas, along with the collaboration and the partnerships of other colleges and universities and cities. I'm excited about it because it's also going to serve as a revenue stream for our city. We're a small town. We work with small budgets. So we're always needing funding because we have unexpected expenses that come about all day, every day.
You don't say. I pulled up on you in a pickup truck fixing a water line in Eudora. She's about their life, y'all. I'm telling you, this mayor is really one to watch.
But I'm excited about that because, like I said, it's going to provide jobs, and jobs that are more than what the standard cost of, the standard minimum wage is. People will actually be able to live because one shouldn't have to work. 2 jobs is for 2 people.
Indeed.
I'm going to just say that. 2 jobs is for 2 people, and we need to be able to work one job to be able to take care of all of our needs so we can spend time with our families. A lot of employers think that, well, you need what I got, and they want to mistreat our people. No, it's time out for that. It's time out for that. So that's what I'm excited about right now.
I'm excited about each city. Vivian, what are you excited about in Pine Bluff?
I'm sorry. I'm a rule breaker. Okay. I'm going to give you more than one.
All right.
Our intermodal infrastructure, if I can just point to something that we have had, that we are have been investing in on a small scale, but I'm looking forward to investing in it on a larger scale when we get our next sales and use tax passed to bring an influx of resources so that we can develop. I'm excited of something new. Our hotels. We have 2 new hotels on the horizon. We're looking forward to the Saracen Casino Resort opening its hotel. I think there were going to be about 300 rooms. And that means 300 people / families who will have an opportunity to stay overnight and visit in luxury and, not only game and gamble, but to step outside of the hotel and take advantage of restaurants and things to do and culture and our parks. And that's just the beginning.
Homecoming's going to be amazing.
Homecoming is going to be lit.
I'm just saying.
We have a wonderful director in Barbara Dunn who is already growing our convention center, which was once the largest convention center in the state of Arkansas. Correct. and where Prince performed, might I remind us. But
And Michael Jordan hooped down there too.
the show did, because when he came for the Cotton King Cotton Classic, which is still happening, and that is one of the things that came back as a result of the efforts of Dr. Ryan Watley and Go Forward. But we intend to be very focused on investing in our infrastructure, and developing with a focus on infrastructure as well as tourism, and investment in our kids, and building up and out the public safety mechanisms that will undergird the progress we're already seeing. I'd like to also brag that we are, I think it's probably about 520 days since the last juvenile homicide in the city of Pine Bluff. And
That's a good thing to brag about.
And I hate to say, but I'm happy to also say that we have had only 4 homicides in the city, and that's definitely 4 too many. And I'm looking forward to next year being able to say we have 0. But we, we're almost halfway through the year, and we have had 4 homicides. We were well into the double digits last year by this time, and all 4 have been solved. Not necessarily prosecuted, but our police are hardworking. Like we are moving and working because people do already have hope, and I just would want our kids to lean into that, take advantage of opportunities. But more than telling them anything, I want to show them. I want to show them that we care, show them that we are investing in them no matter what their life circumstances might otherwise try to dictate to them. And I just wrote down some things when you asked the question, and then I'll stop. I would want kids to travel, and not just internationally and travel for entertainment, but travel for exposure, travel to visit family. And a lot of times we don't think about how many kids don't even travel to the next city. There are kids in Pine Bluff who have never been to Little Rock, who have never seen and been inside the Capitol, never been to Hot Springs, never been to Fayetteville, never been to a football game. And those are things that need to be standard. I would want them to open their mouths, to not be afraid to speak, to know that their voice matters, to love themselves, to read, to fight, not to be afraid to fight. If they ever wonder what that means, I would tell them to watch Friday and watch at the end when Craig overcomes his fear and decides to fight Debo and wins. I would want them to vote, and I would talk to them about how, people their age have traditionally let other folks decide for them. When they are they are the largest voting bloc in the country, and they continue to let other people decide for them. I would encourage them to decide for themselves. I want them to write. I want them to grow. I want them to respect and be respected. I want them to reflect on history and know that there are people who came before them and lived and died and created so that they could be here and that they can do the same.
That's amazing. And speaking of people that came before, Mayor Stacie didn't mention that not only is she from Stamps, there's an icon shoulders that she's standing on. I'm sure she wakes up every day, and that is the poet Maya Angelou, who is from Stamps, Arkansas as well. What excites you when you wake up as mayor about Stamps and the corridor in Louisville and what's to come for your region of the state?
I am very excited because we had an opportunity to meet. I call her Aunt Maya. But we had an opportunity to meet Aunt Maya in Des Moines, Iowa at Drake University when my children were very small. So I introduced her as this is your auntie.
That's right.
Because also with the African tradition and background, that's how we honor our elders. They are aunties and uncles.
Noted out there.
So
what up, Aunt?
That part. So knowing her and appreciating her, and then also being like, I was in high school and I did Phenomenal Woman for an AXO competition. That's the NAACP AXO competition that is regional, where it's local, regional, and then it's national. So that's another way of our children getting exposed to our culture, to our academics, and then also going off to different colleges. But I am so coming back home and then saying that I felt like part of my role, part of my mission was to also make sure that every student and every child understood her impact in the world and their connection to her. And that they could go across the pond because that's what she talked about, or they can go to Brown's Chapel, or they can go where her store was at, or her grandma's store was at. So being able to come back and be there in Stamps where I called home and to make that connection with Aunt Maya, I feel like it's an honor. Um, for me, it's an honor for my family because I feel like I am living what they worked for. I'm like living that dream of what they worked for. I never knew about if they ever thought about me being being in politics or being the mayor of the city where they worked and they worked in the fields and clean houses and think about all the things that my grandparents and my aunties and uncles worked at the factory, and then even like my dad, and being able to say that my baby is the mayor of our hometown is such an honor because I know that somebody prayed for me to be in this place. And so for me to be back home, and at this time, I'm like, God, only you could have orchestrated that, because never did I think about going home to live and to know that what he told me back in 2021 to go back home and didn't know what to do, and then to go back home and then run for mayor. And then after running for mayor, then everything hits the fan.
I mean, in
that
a
talks,
good way.
Yes, that talks about lithium is in this area, and that now, I mean, the amount of lithium that's in the area and what that means to America as GDP. What that means for America, what that means for Stamps, and then what that means for each and every individual home. And so for me, I feel like I have a great responsibility to make sure that I'm having conversations with our county judge, our senators, all of the folks at a higher level to talk about mayors need to be at the table when you're having these conversations, and we need to have community agreements about what we want to see happen. And so I'm excited about it, but like I said before, this is very new to our community. It's new to the leaders that are in our community. I know bits and pieces of what this looked like because I've done some work and things in Africa, and I know what they had to put in place to make sure that our local workers, our residents in our area, that you need to say at least 10 or 20% of those folks that's getting those jobs, those high paying jobs, need to come from our community. You have to pour so much into our schools. Those roads that you're going to be driving up and down, we need infrastructure money to help us with maintaining our water system. We need help with maintaining our roads. So all of those things, knowing that we got some issues and we got some things that as we help America, have we helped Arkansas, we're also helping Stamps Arkansas. And so I'm excited about the opportunity that can bring. And I'm also excited about the platform that God has allowed me to be on the national with doing the fellow, because now I have other people that I can tap into. And I have my sisters here that I can tap into and say, hey, I need some help. I need to get some understanding on how this works and how to call folks in to get things done for our community. So many times we often don't know, and we scared to say we don't know. And I cannot allow this opportunity to be at the table and for my city to be passed over, or for the folks in my city, every single one down to Miss Hazel Hopkins, who just turned 100 years old on the 16th, to make sure every single person gets the benefit of having this type of lithium boom in our community. So I'm excited about that and what it could mean for the future. And I'm excited even more so that God would even allow me to be here at this time in this place. And I thank him for obedience because of the obedience, now my family is saying, Mama, you need a team, you need help, and we're here to help you. So I'm excited about all of this.
You know, the great poet, I got to give a round of applause. The great poet, another one, Andre Benjamin, for those out there, a part of Outkast, has a line in the song that we always glaze over when we're at the don't do it, reconsider, read some lither. But he says, spaceships don't come equipped with rearview mirrors. Now let that sink in. Imagine being on a spaceship and it not having a rearview mirror and where you are headed with one of the world's largest lithium deposits in the country, in the world, right there in the Smackover Formation, to go into the ground and bring out this bromine and bring this lithium to surface that will be packaged for making these batteries all over the country. It's right there in your hometown and home city. And wow, what amazing work that we'll be able to do to expand over to Southeast Arkansas and all across the Southwest Arkansas corridor. So last question, since we're not looking in rearview mirrors, we've got some exciting times ahead of us as a stronger state, as a stronger people, as a stronger Arkansas. Given you have the opportunity to dine with 5 individuals of any likeness, it could be your last supper or your one dream dinner, to make you stronger, who would those 5 people be as we conclude this evening's episode of Stronger with Armstrong? Your top 5 people at your dinner table. I am grateful for my 4 or 7 that joined me tonight, because this was a dream for me and I was obedient and I had a vision and it's manifesting. So this can work. Who are your top 5? Mayor Butler, I'll let you lead off. Or you know what? Since we have some youth at the table, young man, Mr. Elijah, first of all, thank you for giving us your time, for coming in from Arizona and seeing your mother. That warms my heart to know that a young man has brought his mom in and sitting with us this evening. Yes. Give us your 5. Who would you have at your table of 5 to make you stronger? And then pass the mic and we will conclude.
Can I get a youth some food for thought real quick?
The youth?
Yes.
If you got $20 worth of game to offer these young people as a young man, please do share with them and share with us at this table. And I'm right here.
This is for everybody. I want everybody to leave with the power of 3. And you got 2 sets. The first set is the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the second 3 is mentors, advisors, and peers. That's what we all need. Your mentors are people who are 15 to 20 years ahead of you. They're where you want to be at, and they're the blueprint of what you want to be. You connect yourself with them. They will guide you. For your advisors, there are people who are in the realms. Just say if you're an artist, whatever like that, you need to be connected with engineers or photo guys or videographers, things like that. Those are what your advisors are. And your peers are people, you want those to be people who are the same age as you, but just got a little bit more experience than you. That will help you get far.
I lived by that. That's sage advice. Thank you so much. Give us your top 5. Thank you so much, Elijah.
Thank you. And my top 5, okay, my first 2, Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King. For sure.
MLK and Frederick Douglass.
Sure.
Shout out, Brother Douglass. Okay. Let me hear it.
Okay.
3
Number
more.
3 more. Okay. Oh, this gets tricky.
The people that are pouring strength into you.
Yes, indeed. Well, this one ain't no thought. My Aunt Bobby for sure. That would be number 3, and she would be number 1 for sure. But
Aunt Bobby?
Yes, my Aunt Bobby.
Shout out Aunt Bobby.
Shout out my Aunt Bobby. And Uncle Billy, like I gotta throw him in there too. Wouldn't be right if he wouldn't.
Uncle Billy gonna get you if you don't put him in there now.
You gotta put him there too. Of course, the last seat.
Amen.
The one who has guided me through everything. It's been a great example for how to be a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? You've just been an example, a great person.
Thank you so much. It's on you, unless you gotta suck up a tear. You want Mayor? You want? Okay. Oh, Sister Mayor.
I mean, I'm gonna say this is just off my dome. People who are like in my mind right now. 'Cause I'm sorry. This is just off my dome, and if I did the research, it would probably be different. But and I'm also gonna say that my family would already be there. This would be an invitation to my home, and so my
You said
mama,
your own
so
table.
my
You got
mama,
it.
so
You
my
got
mama and daddy and brother would already be
'Cause
there.
your mama got to have some cooking at the table.
Yes.
Okay.
Ida B. Wells, just because she was such a prolific writer and so strong, like from early age. Dave Chappelle, hilarious and brilliant.
I'm looking at this next name.
Controversial.
I love it.
Malcolm X.
Yes. We'll keep that.
Yes. Paul Robeson. He just was this figure. My mom used to tell me about him when I was a kid, and I'm like, who is this? What Paul Robeson? And when you read about what he did, like we know he was an artist and a civil rights leader, but when we look at how he challenged America on an international policy stage through the United Nations and led the We Charge genocide, complaint against America committing genocide against Black people in America, whether it was through lynching or a decided effort to prevent Black people from accessing health care, and a litany of other things we could talk about. And then Auntie Maxine Waters.
Auntie Max is there. I love it. That's good. Mayor Butler, you're 5. That's a strength. That's a strong table. Mayor Flowers, that's a strong table. I'd come out of there stronger.
I think Dave Chappelle would keep us all out.
Oh, yeah. So, given the fact that my ancestors would definitely already be there.
Mayor Butler,
Oh.
just hold it up to you.
Okay.
There we go.
So given, and I'm really trying to think about this thing. But given the fact that my ancestors will already be present, I'll have to have Michelle Obama there, and I'll have to have Barack there. Keeping your personal life together, being in the public sector all the time, I think that's good because I'm gonna have that one day.
Okay.
Harriet Tubman. I started this journey on March 11th, 2020, which was the first day of the pandemic. And I had no prior political experience, hadn't served on a council or anything. And, given just thinking about everything that was laid on the table, it was crazy because I didn't know anything. And the people I called to seek counsel and guidance from, they didn't know. However, they were as transparent. I have an acronym that I use: HOT, honest, open, and transparent.
Oh, yeah.
So they were just as transparent can be. They were like, Mayor Butler, everybody said, Mayor Butler, congratulations. I know that sounds crazy, but honestly, we don't know. But I promise you, when we find out, we will call you and let you know. And my phone rang sometimes 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because by 8 a.m. I had to have some things in place. And I'm forever grateful for that. But I said Harriet Tubman because she was trying to free us. A lot of us didn't realize we were in bondage. And a lot of us still today in 2025 do not realize we're still in bondage. And, she had to get a gun. And I understand why. But she didn't give up. She knew what her assignment was and she stuck to it. And I lean on her for that kind of strength because I have those days. But I'm grateful to have, her to lean on.
Indeed.
Rahm Emanuel, one of my cousins gave me his book when I first took office. And it was very enlightening to me. And one thing that I can say about it is that innovative piece, and then I oftentimes think about, what we're going to do in Southeast Arkansas with the vertical farming piece, but just a wealth of knowledge, wealth of advice. And also, I was going to say my mom, but you know what? I have to say Robert Kiyosaki, because he changed, he was instrumental in the shift of my mindset when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, if this man at that point in time, years ago, when he wrote this book, had that much knowledge and information that really could change the world, cause a paradigm shift, I need him at the table. Because there's no telling what kind of information he can relate to us right now. So, yeah, those would be my 5.
That's strong.
Yeah.
Bring us home, Mayor Stacie. Bring us home with your 5.
Wow. And I'm just going to say the disclaimer
Mayor
that
Butler.
all of my family members is already there, along with my mentor, who's roughly about 92, 93 years old now. So all my folks will be there. But my 5 that would actually be at the table. I got my girl Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah.
Gotta have her there. Claude Anderson. I read his book for the first time when I was probably like 12 or 13, that talked about how Black economics and what those things need to look like in our community. I think he's out of Florida. So he would be there. Of course, Oprah Winfrey will be at my table. And then my father passed away, actually was murdered when I was 18, my biological father. So I would just have him there because I want him to see who I am now. And so I would have him here with me. And then my last person would definitely be, and my mind just went blank, but Dr. Maya Angelou.
Auntie,
So I would definitely have, Auntie there. So that having all of them in the room would bring me so much wisdom, but also guidance about how we can come together as a community to bring that economics back so my dollar stays in my community for at least 7 times before it leaves.
Talk about it.
So to have all of those folks there, and then have folks at the table who can make things happen by picking up a phone call or a stroke of a pen. And then having someone that's unafraid to deal with any challenges, no matter what it is that people bring, and be able to say it at the highest level, which is at our at our White House, and being able to talk when it's sitting in the House. So I'm just excited about it. Those would be my 5, and that was really hard because I had to narrow it down. But because I wanted to take some of y'all. I had some of y'all folks on my list. I'm like, no, I'm not going to repeat it.
Banquet.
So yes,
5 people.
yes, and bring them and really have it. So that would be my 5.
Well, this episode and all of our episodes are about highlighting the strength, resilience, unity of our great state through our people. And you guys shared some amazing names of people that would make you stronger. And so to our participants that are out there tuning into this episode, I certainly hope, as I've always said, that this information, these nuggets, these jewels leave you stronger today by viewing this episode than you were before we found you. Until next time, thank you for joining us with Stronger with Armstrong. Good night. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to follow us on all social media platforms, streaming platforms, and be sure to subscribe.